evening and welcome to Thai PBS World tonight. Leaders can be found at different levels, like leaders at the top of the country, leaders at the top of organization, or in fact, leader can be at different level. There is a researcher who has done research on the way Thais lead. In the Thai PBS World tonight, Kun Thep Chai Yong and me talk to Dr. Larry Persons, author of this book, The Way Thais Lead. Probably you can tell us a little bit about your book, The Way Thai Lead. Why do you have particular interest on face or หน้าตา in Thai society?
Well, I was born in Thailand and raised in Thai society for much of my life, and so I knew about this as a child, sort of tacit knowledge of face. I wanted to discover what it had to do with either empowering younger leaders or disempowering younger leaders. And that's what led me. That was the initial thing that led me to do the research.
So you talked to as many as 77 people.
That's right.
For the research, right?
Right.
And who were these people? You don't have to be specific, right? But I'm sure that they must be surprised to know that you are doing a research on face.
Yes, I've got people all the way from the Tambon or the sub-district level leader, all the way up through university professors, police, border patrol police, some politicians, some former prime ministers, and then some religious, some clergy as well. Maybe a little bit cautious at first. Okay. And what I knew not to ask any one person about their face, or to say, tell me about a time when you lost face. Okay. What you do is you say, do leaders ever lose face? And they say, oh yeah, all the time. Okay, can you tell me about it? And that's how they talk. And I found them very forthright in giving information.
Okay. And how do you find face or หน้าตา very essential in Thai society, especially for leaders? What your analysis tell?
Yes, that all the research says it's extremely important for leaders in Thai society. I think partially because hierarchy is still so strong in Thai society. I think that these leaders have had this example set for them for a long time, and so there's this concept that everybody has to kind of have their act completely together. You can never stumble. You can never show any weakness.
But you link face to other characteristics also, right? You mentioned about barami.
Yes.
I don't know what you translate in English, charisma, whatever it is.
Yes.
And reputation and image. So how does face fit in all these characteristics?
Right. First of all, I asked the Thais, tell me about people who have a lot of face, mi na mi ta, okay? And so they would respond. And then I would hear these words. And the words I was hearing was na ta for sure, which is face eyes, or I call it prestige. Okay. Okay? And then kiet, honor, okay? Chu siang, which is, public acclaim, I call it. And then barami, which is accumulated goodness, or sometimes moral strength. And then the last one was saksi. So I started asking about these terms, and I said, well, let's separate them. And their first response, everyone, they said, it's impossible. I don't know how to separate these words because they're all มันปนกัน is what the Thai say. แยกออกจากกันไม่ได้ And so I said, okay, well then if you have หน้าตา you automatically have barami. Oh, no, อาจารย์ no. So I said, well, they have to be different. And so that's how I pulled the meanings apart.
So which one is the most influential in Thai society?
Depends what circles you run in. The way that I would say it is that nata is the external sort of bling, the dazzle of Thai society. And you can fool people and you can also intimidate them with your money. And that's what happens on the nata level. Okay. On the kiet level, kiet is really good when it's based on true honor. Provided by society. The third one, chusiang, to me, is it's important and very powerful, but it does not provide any kind of a moral basis for behavior. And I'm interested in virtue. and I'm interested in virtuous leadership, which led me to Barami. Because Barami, Thais should be so proud of this term, because it's something deep within Thais, and yet it's this idea that leaders can give a win-win situation. Leaders can lead and still respect other people. And so then Saksi was the most abstract, the most complex. But the Saksi is basically goodness within. It's basically how much worth do I award myself.
And how do you draw parallel, sameness and differences between Western faith and Thai faith?
There's probably similarities, but once you break into the languages, they talk about it differently. Okay, if you take the top leader of any country, does he want to lose face? Well, absolutely not. No matter who it is. In Thai society, I think one thing that is different is that there's a sense that your own face is sacred. Because of that, you will defend it to your death. And you feel that you cannot, many leaders feel, that you cannot admit any wrong. You've always got to project this image of being perfect. I don't see that quite to the same extent in other societies, in Western societies, particularly US society. I don't see it to the same extent because there's a lot of ability to critique leaders in those societies, and people just don't buy it. They know that there's nobody perfect. They know there's no one that gets it right.
Do you mean there is no room for Thai leaders to apologize, to say sorry in the public? Will that mean he losing face automatically?
It's what I've often heard from other leaders when I ask them. Yeah, great question. Yeah, that's what I've heard, is that the very act of admitting, admission that you might be wrong, or saying you might have offended is loss of face in and of itself. Just that very act. Yes,
so in this new, so-called new world, the post-COVID-19 world, how do you think the manifestation of faith will be like? Do you think there will be changes?
I hope so. And I think this might accelerate some of those changes. I've thought of a few things here that I wanted to say that I think need to change in the new normal. For any leaders out there listening, the first thing I'd say is let go of the image. And like I just said, no one thinks you're perfect anyway. They don't think you're perfect, so let go of that image.
So it's better to just coming out and confess that you don't know something and apologize?
I think so, but you better know a lot, or people won't follow you in the first place. Another thing is the speed of change is so much faster, isn't it? Than 2 years ago, than 5 years ago, but it's changing incredibly, exponentially. So that means no one is smart enough to have all the answers. And so I think that's what has to change in the new normal. And another thing I would say is to leaders, can we just stop only telling people what to do? Can we ask open-ended questions and then listen well? There's a novel idea. Let's listen well. And the last thing I would say, probably for the new normal, it takes us back to our more ancient roots, and that is choose the way of Barami. And what I argue in my book is Barami is a lot of things to a lot of people, but I argue it is a lifestyle. It is a way of living that you can choose. And over the course of time, if you do not pursue Barami as a goal, as a trophy, what happens is you develop an inner goodness and an outward generosity. And those are the two things that come to my mind that leaders need for the new normal. This inner goodness and this outward generosity.
That's analysis of the way Thais lead by Dr. Bradley Persons. And that's all from Thai PBS World tonight. Thank you very much for watching.